Hello everybody, Natalia here, and I am back with another Nanowrimo prep video. So today I'm going to be showing you what is in my Nano Survival Kit, and it's everything that I'm going to need to get through the month of November as easily as possible. So the number one most important thing on my Nano Survival list is my laptop. So I write on my laptop. What I love about it is I can take it anywhere that I go. So I work really well in public spaces, which like coffee shops, libraries, places like that. While I was in school, I really loved going to my university's library and working there, because if it's silent all around me and I'm just at my home, then I can get up and eat or turn on TV or play a video game, and there's always distractions for me when I'm at home. But if I'm out in a public place, then I am very much in kind of a working mindset, and I will sit down and do exactly what needs to be done. So laptop is definitely super important. I do have the program Scrivener, but I don't actually write on Scrivener. It's a little bit too organized for me, which is great when I'm editing, because when I'm editing I definitely use Scrivener. But for my first super shitty draft, I like to use Microsoft Word because I can compile everything in one document and just get it all out, and I don't have to worry about separating it into a bunch of chapters and having character notes and everything else going on that I like to do in Scrivener during the editing process. So just my laptop and Word. Alright, next up are going to be my outlines. So there's one back here behind me, and if you watch my outlining video, you can actually see how I put that together. So that's going to be one, and then I also have a bunch of notes here in my sketchbook. I also talk about this book and why I'm using it in my Picking a Project Nano video. So even though I just have a few notes up here on this board, what I have in this notebook is quite a bit more detailed. So I have a lot of notes here that I'm going to be going off of, and these up here are mostly just like major plot points and scene cards, and then the details are going to be in here. And going along with this, of course, writing utensils. Third thing I need is another journal or notebook. I'm kind of funny when it comes to using journals and notebooks, because I like each notebook to have a very specific purpose. Like, now that I'm using this one to do kind of nano prep and outlining for my fairy novel, I'm not going to be able to use this for any other project, because it just drives me crazy to have lots of projects in one notebook. I just like one notebook, one project. So this is my nano/fairy project notebook. And then this beautiful notebook, I actually got this from a friend. She gave it to me when I graduated from university. And it's awesome because the paper is actually made of elephant dung and water. So it's very sustainable. Look at these pages, they're beautiful. Like very textured pages, and I just love this journal so much. I'm not sure yet what I'll be using it for, but I always like to have one blank empty journal during nano time, so that if I feel like I need it for any reason, I know that I have it there. And it's just beautiful. Look at that. Coming up next is some kind of research material. So I've showed you guys this book before. This is a massive book on fairies that I rented at the library. It's not in very high demand, so I'm just going to keep on renewing it from the library. They'll let me renew it a few times, so that should get me through November unless somebody else wants this book, in which case I'll have to return it and then rent some other fairy books from the library. But for now, this one is doing wonders for me. I'm getting a bunch of ideas from this, and I'm going to continue referencing it as I'm writing my novel about the Fae. I mean, my university degree. Sometimes if I'm feeling super shitty about my writing, I just have to look at this and remember that I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to become a creative writing major. Next up, my weekly planner. So I love to plan things out. I love looking ahead at my weeks and knowing exactly what I need to do. Like for yesterday, which was Monday, I needed to read my review initiative book because I'm part of a group that gives reviews in order to get book reviews. So I needed to work on that, and I needed to contact CreateSpace. And then for today, I needed to return some books to CreateSpace that were incorrectly printed. So I took those to UPS, and then I also have film video on my list of to-do for today. So after I'm done with this one, I can check that off. But I'm just going to be using this to kind of keep track of not only my word count and what I need to be at every single day, but also which scenes I plan to write and anything else that I need to do every day of Nano, so I really stay on track, because it is in my nature to procrastinate and fall behind, and I'm going to try really hard this Nano to not only not fall behind, but also get ahead, because I want to get as much of this novel done in November as possible. And I'm aiming for it to be about 100,000 words. So if I only write 50,000 in November, that means I'm only about halfway done. So I'd really like to hit 75,000 words for Nano. It's freaking crazy, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get there or not, but it is my goal, and this is definitely going to help me get there. Next up is my Nook. When I'm writing, sometimes I get much too inside my own head, and I just need something to escape that. And reading does wonders for me. Granted, it can kind of be a setback as well, because when I'm writing, I don't like to read really, really good authors, because when I read authors that I really look up to, and then I compare their work to my work, sometimes I get discouraged. So this is going to be a maybe. So if I'm feeling like I can handle it, then I'll definitely be reading during November, but if I'm feeling like it's just going to knock my confidence down, then this will be kept firmly away in my desk drawer. Next up, I have my coloring book. Look at that. I have an elephant on my coloring book, and I have an elephant on my journal. So I have my coloring book, and then just some fresh new colored pencils. I'm just a very creative person in general. I think a lot of us writers are. We just have lots of creative outlets. And coloring is one of those creative outlets for me, because it allows me to be creative and feel good about the things that I'm creating without being too judgmental or harsh on myself, and it doesn't require a lot of thought. I just have to scribble inside the lines, and that's about it. And then along the same lines of having other creative projects, I'm also working on crocheting myself a blanket right now, and it's coming along really well. This is what it looks like. It's getting pretty large, actually. I've been working on it for quite a while, over a month at least. Okay. Yeah, I've done quite a lot of work on it already. Look. So it's kind of big enough to wrap around me, but not enough to be super comfortable yet. So, and it's been really expensive. I had no idea how expensive this yarn was. It's 100% polyester, and for one skein of yarn, or ball of yarn, it's like, what am I paying, like $5, and this one I think has 6 in it already, and I still have quite a ways to go. So this will be my other creative project while participating in Nanowrimo. This is all I have left. This is all the yarn I have. I have to get more. Something else that is super important to have with me during Nanowrimo is just a simple thumb drive, USB drive, to back up my work, because the worst thing that could happen is working and writing 50,000 words on a new novel and then having your computer crash or somehow losing all of your work. So I always back up my work. I not only email it to myself typically, but I also like to keep it on this thumb drive so that if anything happens to my laptop, I can just pop this into a new computer and keep on going. So I definitely recommend this. And then I have some silly ones like candles. When I'm writing, I like to have a very kind of mellow, warm atmosphere around me, and candles really set the mood for me well. They're just warm, they put off lots of light, they smell great. So I typically light candles or incense before I write. And going along with the warm, comfy theme, I have some really fuzzy, warm socks here. So I like to have these on, especially if I'm writing at night or early in the morning when it's really chilly out. Then I've got to have my comfy socks. And of course, you cannot have Nanowrimo without some sort of sustenance. I do really love coffee. It can get expensive, so sometimes I'll make it from home, or my boyfriend is obsessed with coffee, so we usually go every morning to Starbucks and get something. Hey Tifa, I didn't know you were in here. Come on up. So I just like having something warm to drink while I'm working. It goes along with having my snacky foods as well. So that will either be coffee or some sort of delicious herbal tea. I'm really liking the Peach Tranquility tea at Starbucks right now. It is amazing, and I highly recommend you try it if your Starbucks has it. Last but not least, snacks. I must have snacks, okay? So I'm going to try to eat really healthy during November. I am a vegan, so it limits the amount of crappy junk food candy that I can eat, which is a good thing. So I'm going to go to my local natural grocers and get a bunch of really healthy, delicious snacks that I can just munch away on all day long, all day during November. I could just eat forever. Alright guys, so that is everything. That is my Nano Survival Kit. These are all the things that I will be using during the month of November to make sure that I'm staying on track, working hard, and hitting those daily word count goals. Remember, it's 1,667 words a day at least. I'm going to be aiming for higher than that, so I'm really going to be needing all of these things to keep me going. Alright you guys, it is the 11th today, so we are only a few weeks out from the beginning of November. Let's continue preparing so that we're ready to go when November 1st hits. Alright, I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!